prosper. Hey, 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 prosper. Hey, 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 prosper. We need to do better for our sons and our daughters. Spock said it best, live long, prosper.
Welcome back to the LLP podcast, Live Long and Prosper. I am your host, Bernard J. Rackley, and just want to thank y'all for tapping in, man. Before we get started, don't forget to hit that like button and hit that subscribe button so you can, could be notified when I release all this amazing content. So today we have our amazing guest by the name of Brock Friske, and he's a certified personal trainer, lean body coach, and holistic health coach who works online and with local and international clients. He integrates, as a recovering alcoholic of 10 years, he integrates mental health into all of his programming, building a career based on bridging the worlds of fitness and mental health. Man, that's wonderful, wonderful. That's a wonderful bio, brother. So please help me welcome Mr. Brock Friske.
Well, thank you. And it sounds good coming out of your mouth. So I appreciate the introduction for sure.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about what you do, man. So you're into fitness. You're a fitness coach. I'm assuming that's the overall gist, correct?
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, there's many names for these types of coaches, I guess. But I mean, yeah, I say personal trainer and coach.
Okay.
But yeah, for sure, holistic stuff too, because for me, that's something that I've had to implement. But when you really break it down and start getting into the personal training, it doesn't take long for people. I mean, it always bridges over into more of like a mental health stuff, people's, habits, breaking habits. So for me personally, that's why I added in a holistic coach.
Oh yeah, the holistic. Yeah, that's so holistic. Kind of break down what that means. Is that just treating the whole body in a sense, or how would you explain holistic?
Yeah, for sure. And it's the mind, body, spirit, and soul, basically. So I don't, for me, putting together programs and just the way I approach it too, it's never just like, let's just burn fat or let's just build muscle. In regards to actually the maintenance of anything, whether that's like a physical fitness program or running or even just mindset coaching and stuff, there's got to be an element of the maintenance afterwards, which I would say 98% of people struggle with. So to add the mind, the spirit, and the soul in there as well, for me anyways, it's 100% crucial, and especially to help guide people to see the relevance of that. So then afterwards as well, mentally, they've developed a mindset to do their own maintenance.
Okay. So give us a quick rundown. How long is your course typically? How long do you typically train your clients for?
Well, honestly, there's basically a month to month kind of thing where it's like, let's say Mr. Rackley walks in the door and is like, hey, I'm pretty on point with everything, but I need accountability and a little nutrition advice here and there, and maybe one program a month. Then for you, it'd be like, okay, let's do that. It's a pretty basic fee and it's a pretty basic exchange. Now, for somebody who wants more, to keep it easy, it's like a 3-month program, so 12 weeks. Okay. So it gets you in the door. You have a few weeks let's say it's you and I. You and I have a few weeks to kind of figure our flow out. You have a few weeks to see how your body, how your mind works with the programming, and then from there, once we hash things out, then you finish the program, right? So it's about you getting comfortable in the beginning, and then us just pursuing the results.
Nice, man. That's lovely, brother. That's lovely. So how long have you been in that space?
Well, so I've been doing online training for a little over a year. And before that, I was doing personal training in like a box gym. So myself, like many other people, the years of 2019 and 2020 shifted things around. So I just decided to go online. So many more people are doing things online. There's infrastructure there. And there's so many tools for myself as a trainer and a coach. So it makes sense that way. So, yeah.
Nice, nice. So it said you're a recovering alcoholic of 10 years, man. That's brother, man. I applaud that growth. So how did you get out of that spiral of alcoholism?
That's a great question, and I appreciate your support with it and acknowledgement, because it's, yeah, for me sometimes I forget, man, what it was like, but and it's just a day to day thing. I mean, I don't like crave it. It's just not even a thing anymore. But man, for me, the struggle, like having, well, just being exposed to it young and starting young, and you get more involved deeper into it during high school. Naturally, you find yourself around those types of people, and then your ship sails its course. So, I mean, there's many things along the way. Lots of external trouble, causing lots of external trouble. But really, man, for me personally, a lot of it, the internal stuff, like the emotions, the depression. Part of it is obviously the chemical of alcohol in the body on a consistent basis.
Yes, sir.
But just knowing that your behavior is, it's pretty deplorable, so, and like I've been taught, what keeps a person doing their addiction or their whatever it is they're dependent upon generally is the shame, guilt, and remorse. And I'm guilty of that. It's way easier to just like, forget about this and go be distracted over here than just actually turn around, look it in the eye, and just at whatever cost deal with it, and then you're done with it. So I mean, in a short form, that's basically what it was. You do it for long enough, you become an alcoholic. You're dependent on that substance. You're not drinking socially anymore. Blackouts become like a very regular occurrence, and then you operate on autopilot with an intoxicating chemical in your system. Imagine the possibilities. So yeah, but there's a lot of pain, man, in that. And the biggest thing for me is like the collateral damage. There's so many things that we do that affect us or our attitudes that we pour over and project onto others. So when I look back, and one thing that really pushed me forward to quit drinking and to get serious about help in the maintenance was like, look how much collateral damage I've created, especially in people's lives that they had nothing to do with me personally. It's just from my actions and my behaviors.
Man, well, that's I applaud the growth. Like I said, man, a lot of people, wait till they suffer some very, very difficult things or very good, health troubles or their 50s and 60s, and then they try attempt to turn it around. However, you're still young, you still got a long life ahead of you, and I applaud you that you stepped up and took action on your life and changed those habits for some better habits, brother. I truly applaud you.
Yeah, and again, that's appreciated, because I do forget, but yeah, part of that too is, I really go by, I guess one of my mottos is, or one thing I ask myself, like, who am I to expect things of other people if I'm not myself doing it first? So it's like, yeah, okay, well, maybe I should take things seriously and like get my life together, treat myself better, treat other people better, and then maybe I'm in more of a position to go out into society and quote unquote expect more from people. So yeah, it's a huge change. So I appreciate the acknowledgement.
Yes, sir. That's lovely, man. So, Mr. Brock Friske, what does your morning routine look like these days?
So generally, my alarm clock goes at 5 a.m. every morning. And so I'm up sometime between 5 and 5:30. I get a coffee and a book. So let's say until 6 or 6:30, I'm having coffee and reading. If I'm working out of town, then I'm off to work. But let's say right now with time off, after that, it's usually get ready for the gym and then go do an hour to 2 hours of working out, and then the day is kind of my oyster. Lots of work on the online business stuff, and lots of other research too. So over the past probably decade as well, I've been learning Spanish. So that's kind of a constant thing. And I take lessons online as well. And then generally when it's nice out, spending time outside. But that, honestly, that morning routine, that's something I suggest to anybody who I work with or anybody who's struggling with anything really is. So this is why it's important for me. I would say 90% of the time when I wake up, there's quite a bit of fog. You get like catapulted out of the dream world. So like if I were to get up, let's say I've got to be out the door at 8. If I were to get up at 7:15 and try to do all the things and out the door, man, it's going to take me until 2 p.m. to get on track. So I know, regardless of how tired I am or how much I just want to shut the world. And this morning was one of those mornings. I seriously considered just turning off the alarm clock and going back to bed. But I was like, no, you know what? Because I know if I get out of bed, have a coffee or tea, and read within half an hour, like when I read and my brain is just focused on these words and it's not like trying to take over the world and solve the world's problems, then I'm actually on track, you know, and, you know, have a little bit of coffee in your system too. So within half an hour, well, let's say 45 minutes of me getting up, like I've gone through some stuff, there's a bit more clarity and like, I'm now ready to take on the day, whatever is in store.
I love that. So what are you reading currently?
So it is a book called A Storm in Flanders, and it is about essentially the North Americans, let's say, in the First World War. So I'm taking my mother. The reason I'm reading this, I've read this book before, but I'm reading it again now. I'm taking my mother to Belgium in September as it was a Christmas present. That was more for her birthday. But her grandfather, so my great grandfather, died in World War I, and there's a monument there to the members of the, I guess, the Canadian or the British Expeditionary Force that lost their lives in Belgium. So it's something that she's wanted to do for a long time, and because I'm more of the nomadic traveler of the family, I thought it was an awesome way to give back. So anyways, it's a pretty heavy read for the morning, but, you know, for information, and it gives a person a much better idea of, you know, what goes on in the world and what war actually looks like.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Yeah, Belgium. I've never, I mean, I love their chocolate. You know, I love some good Belgium chocolate, but however, that hasn't been a place that I've heard many people looking to travel to. I heard it's very beautiful. Is it, have you traveled there prior? Have you traveled there before?
No, I haven't. I've traveled a few places in Europe. Probably the closest would be Germany. I was in Munich and Berlin, but yeah, I mean, would love to go and have wanted to get to the Netherlands as well for quite a while. So yeah, it'll be a good trip, and I wanted to get to Europe for a while. So
nice. Yeah.
Yes.
So why are you so passionate about the things that you're doing?
So for me, this is the biggest thing that got me into, you could say, health and fitness, and has really shaped, well, it's the reason that I've started coaching and has really shaped the way that I deliver programming. I mean, I don't even want to call it programming. It's just support to people who are in situations similar to what I've been in. Number one, in regards to coaching, I mean, I've had a lot of counselors, I've had a lot of psychologists, and through like playing competitive sports since I was young, have had a lot of actual like athletic coaches, and a lot of them have been like stellar. But there's been a lot, and especially when it comes to the professionals, that really fall short. Why? Because they actually don't have any like life experience that way. You know, it's truly what they've learned at school. Some of them don't want to be that. Then it's for me personally, it's been really detrimental. You know, not really understanding the complexities of whatever mental health or the spiritual aspect of things, or even physical health, and like having outlets for energy, creative energy, or just that like the buildup, anxious energy, whatever. So for me, having to overcome some of that, the shortcomings of professionals, and actually getting through my own addiction, quitting drinking, quitting smoking, like cutting out so much carbs, so much sugar, like the bad stuff, and knowing what it's like to overcome those things, knowing what that battle is like, which a lot of it is really just mental, right? The stories we tell ourselves, the conversations we make up. I'm never going to be able to live without A, B, or C, So for me, the passion comes from going through those things, knowing that it is possible, and having like the solutions, let's say so like 6 months ago, I quit eating Doritos. Why? Because, man, every road trip, I'll just, a little bag of Doritos. And then the next stop, well, just another little bag of Doritos. But it's the excuses. It's the excuses that we tell ourselves. Well, it's not that bad. Well, it's only, but when you look at it, it's like, well, it's not necessary. My life is going to go on. And, there's thousands, millions of people that are living without whatever it is, coffee, alcohol, cigarettes, you name it. So like, oh, well, I guess I can too. But it's such a beautiful process when like either you yourself or you watch somebody go from being so dependent on something, and that can even be a person, somebody who's dependent on a brother or a mother or a sister or a lover or alcohol or whatever, like slowly break free, that mental mindset of like, no, I can do this. It's probably not going to be tomorrow, and it might take a year. I mean, it could be 2 months, but to slowly just go through life and one step at a time, just like live better and like totally break free from, I need these things to be myself. You just start to be yourself and truly learn how that is. And then before you know it, like, when you look behind you, you're like, oh man, like look at all of that garbage that I've left behind in the baggage, and like, well, here I am, so much lighter, and it's so easy to be yourself. Intuitively, you already know how to do that. It's true, but then it's all these other things that either you allow people to put on you or that you take on yourself, and that's what does the damage. So that's why I'm passionate, because I do know what that experience is like. I guess I've developed some hacks, you might say, as they're calling them these days. But man, it's just learning how to live more simple. Like, man, if I've got an able body and I can get up and I can move and I can ask questions and I can, man, with the internet, I can look up things, I can entertain myself positively, I can, like, the references, the resources, they are there. And to help somebody like go through that, to hold space for somebody to do that is, man, it's powerful for me, and knowing what it's like for them. And then when they get out the other side, and just that like, oh, that sigh of relief is just like, this is why we're here, and it's life. Life should not be that painful or complicated. So for me, that is my personal journey, is getting in touch with my little spirit in this human body. So again, to be able to help people get stronger in that, get stronger, like spiritually and emotionally, and really acknowledge that experience for what it is. But then, so you watch somebody physically get stronger, mentally get stronger, but also like leave so much of this garbage behind that's polluting them. That's like, for me, I like to think that that's a good legacy for me, and to help people leave that legacy for themselves. Yeah,
brother, that's lovely, man. That's powerful. That's powerful. We need more people like you out in this world, man. So I'm grateful that we can share your story with my tribe and the world, because we need more people like you in this world, man. Just to give some backstory on him and I actually met him through a personal development course or seminar or retreat, I call it a men's retreat. And Mr. Brock was one of the strongest men in our group that we had. And he was just such an inspiration to me, I'm grateful that I'm able to call him a brother on this journey of life. And he like I said, he's been a phenomenal character in my life, and I'm grateful for you to share your story on my platform, brother.
Well, and it's so funny too. This is the big thing about life. Like if you never step outside your door, you miss the opportunities, right? But you start taking those steps, no matter how uncomfortable. For me personally, that's how this all works. You take the next step, and the things come to you, right? It's the natural order of things, I guess. So yeah, to meet you and to have these experiences, and for me, it is a gift to just know that in my little realm and my little spot in the universe, that I've got people like you in my life as well, who I know are slugging away and figuring it out, but leading by example as well. And there's one of the quotes that's really true for me, in that what I admire in other people. It's a Benjamin Franklin quote, but it's, the best sermon is a good example. And it's so true, and especially in the realm of coaching and training. So many people, they've attached themselves to somebody's training system, and it's like they're just regurgitating, but it doesn't mean they've done any work,
Right.
But when you want somebody day after day after day do the thing, then you see it, because there is, I forget what the statistic is, but on how much information that we actually take in that would be like audible. So when somebody talks to you, it's like, yeah, some filters in, but like what, 5% of it you actually remember. But again, when you have a visual reminder, and let's say like yourself, like when I check in with you or see your stuff, like I know there's Mr. Rackley. He's at it again. And it is, though, for me, it's a reminder. There's other people like that. And like, you lead by example. So not only are you just doing it and like actually doing it for your own good, you're helping people along the way. You're way better capable to do that because you're figuring out your own things along the way. But yeah, then people see it like, man, I like this guy. He's not just always talking, like he's doing it. And, a person who's just down to earth and is willing to hold space. It's not, well, buy this course, or, I can't believe you're doing it this way. You need to do it my specific way. So, I mean, yeah, for sure. It's you motivate me as well, because it's that reflection, right? So when I look at you, it's like, there's Mr. Rackley. He's out there. He's doing his own thing. He's helping himself, and like, integrating other people into that, helping other people, but really just holding space,
Yes,
and what a precious thing, though, just when you go to somebody and know that like, they're not there to judge you. They're not there to whatever, if you want advice and you want, a shoulder or an ear, yeah, that person's going to be there. And like, so we need more people like you. We need more people just to figure their own stuff out, and just to hold space, like nothing to prove, nothing to hide, just to be a human for the other humans who are going through it, So, but it is, people who have started the process and are just like, it can't stop. So like, I got to keep going, and please follow.
exactly.
So that's where I come from, anyways.
Nice. And that's one of my favorite quotes is from Zig Ziglar, and he says, if you can have anything that you want as long as you help others get what they want,
Yeah.
And it's like the podcast, I believe it gives me a chance to allow people to express what they do, how they got there, and express their story. And one of the gifts that I've always been told is I'm a good listener. So it kind of ran perfect parallel with my gift of being a good listener. However, I truly enjoy the stories that come onto my podcast. I mean, I'm like, I think 17 or 18 episodes deep. And every time it's like, I feel like I'm getting coached in a sense. You know what I mean? Like I leave the experience better than when I started the podcast. You know what I mean? And a lot of people that tune in, they feel the same way. They're like, man, you guys had some great nuggets. You guys had a great conversation. And it was about a month ago or a couple months ago, I was getting kind of, in my shit to call it. I was getting, I was just like, man, should I be doing this? I see a lot of other podcasts that, some hip hop podcasts that I actually listen to or watch, and they smoke bud and they do this and they're drinking and they have millions of views. And my mind was attempting to go that realm. I'm like, man, should I be more of a, do some more urban stuff? And I'm like, well, back up, because this is, this is important to me. This is, I mean, we can go drink, get smoke, and get high every day. That's already there. However, I feel like there's a need for more positivity in this world, and if I can be the catalyst to that, then I feel like I'm serving my community the best way I know how, and I don't feel like that's necessarily the best way. That might be the best way for some. However, for me, it's to be a catalyst of positivity and a catalyst of growth and a catalyst of what's possible in this world positively, and add to that side of the coin.
Yeah, and that is the struggle, but that's one of the things for me too, and that is a struggle, because yeah, you see other people doing a lot of stuff that you're like, I could do that if it's gonna, help out my endeavor. Then yeah, I mean, it'd be nice to have a few more views. It'd be nice to have a few more clients. It'd be nice to have a few more opportunities. And for me personally, it's always like, but is it in alignment with what I like truly am trying to accomplish? It's not. And it's true. Like for me, it's always the coaching stuff, and I could take that person's coaching course, and then I could, put it out there, and it's like, it's so much, it's similar anyways, but it's like, but that's not my style. Like I've actually been through the stuff, and I want to connect with people who need that, and what I appreciate about you as well is because, and like what I know, and talking about the overcoming your demons, is it's not easy. That's why not like there's less people doing this than there are buying alcohol, right? Because it's like when you like one of the most difficult things about my job as a coach is telling people like get over yourself. That's an excuse. That excuse is a lie. That's a distraction. That's a diversion. If you put as much time as you did into not doing what you were trying to accomplish, if you put that time into accomplishing the thing, you would have been there 5 years ago or whatever, So it's like, yeah, when a guy wants to sit around and, not take things so seriously and, whatever, have the chats about things, completely different. But when you want to talk about truly getting down to business and getting right, not just like with the world and, with business and politics, but like that job of going inside and going deep on a regular basis to truly be in alignment and like live that true or authentic life, being your truly most authentic self, man, that's work. And a lot of people it's not even part of their thinking that that's how one should live life, because it is. Well, I deserve a drink, and well, I deserve to do whatever it is. I do the distraction, So, I know in my life, like, of course, we all make, excuses. We all go do the things that we know aren't the best. And some of it's not a big deal, but when it's on such a regular basis that you're never really taking care of yourself, like the vehicle, right? The human body, the vehicle, or like, really doing work on the computer, I think we both know where that goes,
Yeah.
So, I mean, I would applaud you in that, because it's, man, staying true to that on a daily basis, and like, looking out your window from where you are and being like, oh my God, they're, whatever, they're having a party over there. Nobody's everybody's so chill and relaxed and laughing, and here you are like, trying to be serious and, go deep, always going deeper and whatever. And yeah, it can be daunting, so, but again, for me, why I do what I do, and I think why you do what you do. So when people see that, if they were to actually come to your corner, look at your stuff and your work, they'd be like, oh, damn, like now that that's in my vision, my range, like, you know, that dude, man, Mr. Rackley, like he's on it, man. He's actually doing it. Like, oh, that's what it looks like, you know? So it's that thing about like what I talked about with the coaching stuff. It's like, oh, well, over here, you know, there was this person and they had, you know, mentoring and they had, you know, all this stuff going on and they were funny and blah, blah, blah. And then, you know, it's like they come over to your corner and like, oh, but this guy's doing it, you know, like he talks about but he's doing it, and he talks about it from his experience versus just like, you know, do good, do better, you know, eat healthy, go for a run once in a while. You know, you're posting videos of like, you know, just half dead sweating and whatever, like, you know, posting your maps. Like I'm doing it. So for me, like that is what a coach does, you know. And when you actually sit with people who are on that journey, who are a little bit, you know, they're a little bit reserved, it seems so daunting. I mean, you can laugh with them a bit because you know what it's about. You know that it can be pretty dark at times, and the games that your mind plays, but just that like, yeah, if you just get up half an hour earlier, you know, read for 20 minutes, or like tell so-and-so to, you know, beat it, or just acknowledge that you're a human being and like you're going to have a lot of days that don't start off the best. I mean, that's what counts, right? Like that's what from my experience, when I meet people like that and people who have helped me in my journey, like those are the people where, again, going from kind of like very serious, oh my God, I don't know if I can do this, to just like so relieved that like, oh, I might like, I feel safe with this person. I think this person actually gets it, and like I don't have to hide the fear. I don't have to feel stupid for like not having all the answers and not having it all figured out, you know? Because it's always that thing where, oh my God, well, they have everything figured out. Like people look at me sometimes and like, oh, well, you're like, you travel and you do this and you do that and you do, and not that I try to misrepresent things on social media, but it's like, I'm just doing my thing. You know, like, no, I don't have it figured out. I put together a half-ass plan that like, you know, and I always throw it up to the universe. Like, that's where I want to go over there. And like, I don't know, it's the best I can come up with. So that's where I'm going, but I'm totally open to changes, you know, so throw it my way, you know, and then you adapt to it. And so it's all like, again, people think that they've got to have it all figured out. And oh my God, I should have, you know, $1 billion, and I should, you know, I should. And it's like, but number one, if it's not your path, then it's not your path, right? And like sometimes you actually have to put in the work and figure some things out because that's your path. Exactly. And that's okay. It's a journey, and it can be fun. And there's so much when you have the challenges and you get through the challenges and you meet, you know, people like my fine friend, Mr. Rackley. It's like, oh, that's the reason why. If I didn't have to take that detour into, you know, said area, I wouldn't have this experience. And you know what? It actually turned out really well. So I drew that one out, but in my perspective and how I personally operate, like, you know, like help people to realize the truth. It's like, those are exactly the things. It's perfect examples. So yeah, so you're doing it, you know, and it doesn't have to be glamorous, and it doesn't have to be epic and tragic all the time. It's just like one foot in front of the other, right?
Hey, brother. Exactly, man. So tell me, what does prosperity mean to you?
Prosperity. Yeah, I would consider it, well, and to me, it's like, it's my own personal thing. When I think about my own personal prosperity, it is like being more self-sustaining. When I prosper, it's like, yeah, I'm able to do the things that I truly value, you know, while not having to sell myself out. So let's say with the training stuff, you know, it's something that I want to build. So in my mind, if I'm prosperous, yeah, I'm getting by doing things that I truly love to do. So it's not necessarily work. The relationships that I have are tight. They're strong. There's no preconceived crap. It's just like we talk about the real stuff. We talk about the challenges. We talk about the victories. And happy and truly content, like more than like 99% of the time. That's and that, to me, that's prospering.
I like that, man. I like that. I like the way you frame that, brother. That's amazing, man. That's amazing. So what's been one of the biggest lessons that you've learned on your journey thus far?
Not to focus on money all the time. I think from looking at my own complexes and looking at the complexes of others, and especially in our society, I would venture to say that, yeah, a lot of it boils down to financial stuff, right? Because so many people attribute success and status to like a dollar figure. So you could be the nicest guy in the world, and super on it and super intelligent and courteous, whatever. But like, if you're not making 6-7 figures a year, it's almost like, he's cool, but like, how cool is he? Because he doesn't have the money. But people don't really question, well, why is money such a big thing? Rah, rah, rah. So when I guess in that frame of thinking, competition, like, don't have a competitive mindset all the time. Otherwise, yeah, man, you're gonna weigh yourself out. So stick to your guns, like take the time to figure out what it is truly that makes you feel content, that when you sit with your intuition, like makes you feel good, gives you that like, yeah, I can do it. I'm going to do it. And basically do that and work towards that. And I think, so I'm going to reference one of the sayings in our personal development courses that we've taken. I believe it's the have, do, be versus be, do, have. So many people, it's that, well, once I have $1 million, then I will do A, B, and C, and then I'll be happy. Instead of, well, I'm gonna like be positive and be happy, and I'm gonna do the things that I need to do, and then I'll have those things. To sum it up, that's what it is. Like, go. Don't be afraid to go on your own personal journey. Try to stay away from people pleasing and codependency. Take the time to, when you have those emotional issues that arise, deal with them. To sit down and find out where it comes from. Otherwise, how it's going to manifest is that whatever comes up, when you have that a little bit of an anxious response, normally, what do people do? Oh, pick up the cigarette, whatever is closest, go to the beer, go to the fridge rather, grab a beer, or like pick up a joint, or, oh man, I gotta, run by McDonald's or whatever. Man, that stuff going unchecked, or that inferiority, right? Well, I don't have that much money, and Mr. Rackley, he's got a podcast, and I only even got like this online training thing. Then it all turns into this gross feeling inside that just manifests as detrimental things. So, yeah, like, I know that's a few things, but yeah, it's be true to yourself. Live in that integrity, and yeah, like I always try not to be one of those people who's out there preaching about what the government should do and what the neighbors should do and what you should do and what mom should do and whatever. But meanwhile, I'm doing zero work. Yeah, I'm telling them, you got to be doing 99% work on yourself all the time. And like, I'm kicking it back here doing like 2% work. It's like, man, that's tough. So don't be afraid. I'll say this. If there's anybody out there who's listening that any of this has resonated with, you're getting permission to go on your own journey, and never be afraid to do that. People are going to look at you, especially the people who aren't living their own journey, and be like, crazy. Like, well, you can't, because that's how it is in my life. And if I would have listened to that, it would have been a boring existence. It still would be. Because I'm kind of like, no, I respect that. Like, they're not really anywhere close to the situation that I'm in, so I can understand it. But like, I've got to go. I have got to go. Apologies, but I've got to go. And beautifully throw your own little spirit into the big wide universe and like see what comes up for you, instead of like, well, Mr. Rackley doesn't think I should do it, so I probably shouldn't because, oh geez, I wouldn't want to have any conflict or whatever, and then like, so what's the point?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, man. Well, those are great nuggets, brother. It's been an amazing, amazing interview, man. So where can my High Vibe tribe find you online?
I would say the best place would just be Instagram. So, and Instagram, it's at Coach Friske, and you can find me there. So, and man, if this resonates with you and you just want to reach out and ask some questions or whatever, and like no stress about anything, ask the questions. I'm going through it, I'm in touch with other people who are going through it, and a lot of the time it just starts with, number one, you taking the initiative to start a conversation, because nobody can read your mind, and then having somebody who's capable of holding space and just answering the questions without any judgment. So, but thank you for having me. It's much appreciated. Great to see your face, man. Great to hear your voice, and have a few laughs, man. Have a few laughs about life.
Yes, sir, man. Yes, sir. Well, I'll see you in the eye of the storm, brother.
You certainly will.
So yeah, thank you for coming on, man. And like I said, we'll have your information at the bottom of the podcast when we put it on YouTube. I mean, you've been a wonderful, wonderful guest, brother. I appreciate you.
I love it, and I'm super grateful, Mr. Rackley. All the best to you, my friend. Blessings.
Yes, sir. Peace.
Peace.
Prosper. Hey, hey, hey. Prosper. Hey, hey, hey. Prosper. We need to do better for our sons and our daughters. Spock said it best. Live long. Prosper.